I'm Sarah Woodward. I am the CEO and founder of Hocus Pocus Pictures. So we're a film and television production company that directly addresses these three issues. Women represent only 36% of all of those behind the camera, and that is the number that it dropped to since the pandemic. The market is saturated with remakes, reboots, and content based on already existing material, and we're lacking in Australian-based content that's made by Australian creatives and filmed in Australia. So why us? We are female-led and we focus on creating original Australian-based content. So we prefer to work with Australian-based creatives from different diversity backgrounds. We are female-driven and we focus on original story ideas, and original meaning that it is not based on something that's already created before. We have work that is across different genres and we like to cross-genre. We are located on the Gold Coast, where all other production companies are either based in Brisbane or other major cities around Australia. And the Gold Coast is the only location in Australia where you can have the ocean and the forest within close proximity of each other. So we are perfectly placed in the industry to make an impact. So streaming services such as Netflix will need to reach a government-mandated quota. This number will be released on the 1st of July of this year, which means that the total amount of available content on their platforms in Australia must have a certain amount of Australian-based content in order to continue to do business in this country. Speculation at the moment is that the number will be about 10%, which is perfect for us as these platforms are actively seeking content, which we are currently working on, and I will speak about that later on. The only way to get Hocus Pocus Pictures out into the industry is to create, make, and send it out into the world. Our small projects in particular help us to do that, and you can see 2 of these projects already on our YouTube channel, for which I'll pop the link in the description for this video. We also have other small projects that go out to film festivals. These are critical projects as it helps us to practice our craft and industry procedures, along with having a range to show potential investors and buyers what we can do, what we create, and what we're all about. Our funding mainly comes from donations, fundraising, our own pockets, and volunteers, particularly current and graduate students from Bond and other film schools, for which we are incredibly grateful. Medium and larger projects are our next step up, and they do the same as the small, but on a wider scale. This is where we can apply for grants and funding and create more proof of concept for those who are interested in buying or distributing our work. Competition in Australia are already established production companies with connections both domestically and overseas. What I've noticed is many of these companies specialise in a particular genre or way of finding and mining content. Made Up Stories purchase novels, for example, and Curio Pictures do have original story ideas but focus mainly on the drama genre. So what have we been up to? Well, we have completed 4 short films. 2 are online at the moment, and 2 of which we are shopping around to enter into film festivals both domestically and internationally. I reached the semi-finals of the Final Draft Big Break International Scriptwriting Competition for a feature film, and we've been networking with industry professionals at local events here on the Gold Coast, and they've requested to see our work. So we're currently working on the pitch documents and the pilot scripts in our writers' rooms, and I'll be speaking about more of that later. I've been an actor for over 35 years and writing almost as long. Studying a Bachelor of Film and Television at Bond Uni gives me a well-rounded understanding of the industry, the type of roles behind the scenes, and what it takes to bring stories to screens. Learning this from the ground up is something I believe is incredibly important for a CEO to know and understand. I have a master's in criminology, which not only helps me to write and understand motivation, but also crime stories, which is very popular right now. And I'm innovative, highly creative, and a problem solver. I'm very passionate about providing opportunities for women to work in the industry. Over the next 12 months on the slate, we are planning on completing and sending out 7 short films. These will be used to market us as a brand and showing the industry what we can do. There's 1 medium project on the horizon, again with huge potential on the film festival circuit, and this larger scale will help us to grow as a team, both in knowledge and numbers. And we have at least 3 television shows. We're focusing on industry level projects in TV first as opposed to feature films, as this is the highest potential for income and revenue, which I've touched on previously with the incoming streaming services quota for Australian content. And we have a comedy suspense in the final stages of completion. This is the project where documents have been requested and our greatest chance of working in tandem with an already established production company to help us scale up in our content creation and overall business. There is potential for development money from the government with this and other TV projects that we're working on. And you'll note that there are definitive deadlines for our projects, which we are on track to meet, as it's important for us to be working on developing different ideas in order to keep moving forward. Funding will go to 2 necessary items. The first is what Bond Uni doesn't have, and that's on-set communications. They're a type of wireless walkie-talkie on their own frequency with a range of 1.6 kilometres. They're incredibly important in the smooth running of a set, as time is money and the heads of departments need to be able to keep in contact with each other, particularly on large outdoor sets. There is also potential for income as we can rent them out to small sets, and the money generated will go back into our project budgets. The other item is an external hard drive. We need to be able to keep all the rushes, sound, editing and final copies of our films, which you can imagine takes a lot of storage space. Further funding in the future will go towards completing our website and animating our logo so it'll move at the opening of each film and television show. And thank you so much for joining us today. We are incredibly excited about what we do next on our journey for Hocus Pocus Pictures.